could you detail how exactly, and if you plan to involve community organizations in the education and neighborhood conversations part of this?
Yeah, thank you. Excellent question, Sydney. Thank you. I'll start, and then our sheriff, Joe Facito, is here. So I'll start, Sheriff, and then if you want to jump in on education or any other piece of the effort, would welcome you in. But Sydney, I want to see not only the public service announcements and the social media effort that the FDNY will do. I definitely want to see the Vulcan Society involved. I definitely want to see community-based organizations involved, and I definitely want to see Cure Violence Movement involved. We're asking a lot of Cure Violence Movement. Right now, the first thing I want the Cure Violence Movement, the crisis management system, to focus on is stopping shootings, which is what their origins are, the reason they exist. So that's the first and most important thing. They're also doing great work right now in terms of addressing social distancing, educating folks, giving out face coverings. We're funding them on both those pieces, additional resources to do the social distancing work, but also additional resources that we announced a couple of weeks ago to deepen the anti-violence efforts. But anytime they can participate on the issue of fireworks too, I want them to. So yeah, we're going to be doing all of the above, but I think the crucial piece here is engaging families to understand they need to take as much responsibility as humanly possible with their kids, and I say that as a parent. Engaging community-based organizations deeply, absolutely, public information, and then the enforcement that goes at the root cause, the people making money off of this, the people who are supplying the fireworks to begin with. So, Chief, do you want, I'm sorry, not Chief, Sheriff, do you want to speak to the education effort, the enforcement effort, anything you want to add there, Sheriff?
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, Sydney. So let's start with the education because that's the most important part. We want to make sure a message is out there to everyone, parents in particular, that they have to be good neighbors. Setting off fireworks at night is not necessarily a good idea, especially during a pandemic. We want to get community groups involved in the education process. That's part of the spreading the message. And the police department does an excellent job of doing that. The fire department does an excellent job of doing that. The sheriff's office will continue in that vein to try to get the message out that we have to do this as a community. As far as enforcement, as the mayor indicated, we want to use the similar strategy that we've used with tobacco enforcement and other types of contraband. We want to look out of state at the people that are making profit off of selling fireworks, causing us grief. So we want to send teams into other jurisdictions to observe the sale of fireworks, gather evidence, stop and interdict the movement of fireworks into the city of New York, and also provide evidence to the city of New York that outside entities may be profiting from this type of behavior. And if necessary, maybe even institute legal actions. The city of New York has done that before in the areas of tobacco trafficking and firearms. They brought legal action against entities outside the city of New York that have caused this type of disruption within the city. So that's pretty much our overall strategy at this point.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. Go ahead, Sydney.
Thank you. And my second question, but Sheriff, you were getting at this a bit, but I'm hoping you can detail what exactly a supplier means. Like a lot of these fireworks, it appears, are coming from outside of New York City, like you mentioned. And I'm wondering, is the goal to focus on these out-of-state suppliers and organized groups or companies, or would a supplier also mean just one person selling them out of the back of a truck?
Yeah, I'll start and I'll pass back to the sheriff. So, this is a classic situation, Sydney. We want to go after the big fish. We want to go after those who are making the biggest impact. We know there are suppliers outside New York City where a lot of this is coming from. Again, we're going to combine the efforts of the sheriff's office, which does a lot of very similar work, focusing on the supply of illegal contraband coming into New York City. You've got the fire marshals who have a lot of investigative capacity. You've got the police department intelligence division. Anyone out there who is profiting in a big way outside of New York City and sort of the major suppliers, we're going to throw all that at them and go disrupt and work to cut off that supply. But then within the city, again, we're going to start from the biggest operations, not focused on the kid on the corner. We're focused on the people really profiting and really distributing a lot of fireworks and causing this problem for so many New Yorkers. So, Sheriff, you want to flesh that out and explain that more?
Certainly. Sydney, so what we see oftentimes, the person selling the item out of the back of the van didn't just acquire it in a small way. They actually went to another jurisdiction and made a significant purchase, let's say $10,000 or more, in some type of contraband that is illegal in New York City. So we're looking at these organizations that are selling this type of product to individuals from New York and allowing this type of problem to continue. We like to focus on those type of networks. Shutting down the network is one of the best ways that we can stop the flow of contraband into the city. So that means the source product, where the source that's generating the product, and also the traffickers themselves that are moving the product, usually in some type of medium to large scale, into the city of New York.
Okay, thanks very much, Sheriff. And we'll certainly make sure if people have other questions of the Sheriff later today, we'll make him available. So let me wrap up. We've talked about a lot of different topics today, but I want to come back to a very, very important one, the one that underlies who we are as New Yorkers, as Americans, and that is our democracy and voting. Today is Election Day, primary election day. A lot of important decisions will be made today all over the city. I want to encourage everyone to participate. So like a lot of you, I voted by mail. Charlene and I got our absentee ballots and sent them in. A lot of people did get absentee ballots, still haven't used them. You can up to midnight tonight, as long as you get it postmarked. Go to a post office. If you have your absentee ballot, you can go to any post office, drop it off there. That'll get it postmarked today. You can go to a poll site and drop off the absentee ballot, or just vote in person at the poll site. If you go to your poll site, if you're not sure where your poll site is, go to nyc.pollsitelocator.com. And look, a lot of precautions have been made to make sure that voting will be safe. So you have the option, either way, get out there and vote. Get your face covering if you're going to a poll site. The most important thing is make your voice heard. We're dealing with some of the most unprecedented, biggest challenges in the history of New York City right now. And the leaders of today and the ones who will be elected today are going to have to grapple with these challenges, not only in 2020, but for years and years to come. So choose wisely, but most importantly, cast your vote today, and that will help us all move forward. Thank you, everyone.
Hi all, we will be starting our technical briefing shortly, and just as a reminder, it's going to be with